Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Juni's Café, a series where we learn, share, and grow by putting our thoughts into the ether. I'm your host, Juni, and with me we have none other than a special guest. You know her from her YouTube channel, It's Totally Not Low. We have today Lo with us. Round of applause.
Hi.
Hello.
Glad to be here. Happy to be
Of course.
here.
I've been watching your content for like a while, and like, if for those of you that don't know, we actually know each other. We went to like elementary school and middle school.
Yeah.
And I remember that you started a YouTube channel a while back, and like you're currently on a break.
Yeah.
And I remember that you were there was this one video that I thought was hilarious. It was the one where you were trying to sell feet pics.
Yeah, that's my most viewed video.
Yeah. Yes. And I was like, this is iconic content.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I remember just watching your whole process through your YouTube content and everything. So I thought it was really interesting, and I was also, you know, outside of just watching your YouTube channel and stuff like that, I was also I follow, of course I follow on your social media. I've like,
yeah,
you know, and I was like seeing your journey.
It's been crazy. It's been a crazy
like,
journey.
I really want to yeah. So I knew I definitely wanted to collaborate with you. Do you remember when, or do you remember around the time when we met?
I like have a vague memory, and I don't remember like our interaction, but I remember like just looking at you from across the classroom in our first day of third grade, and your head was slightly tilted.
Yeah. That's oddly specific.
Yeah, that's like the only like vision that I have about it. No promo.
Yeah, I remember that at the time, I don't think I have like any memories of you from third grade, but I do remember that I begin to have more memories of you like as the years passed by, because I feel like we interacted more throughout the years.
Yeah.
And I remember that you were with a group of friends, and like I was with like my group of friends, and I feel like those two groups didn't really interact, but like whenever it was just the two of us, like we would get along like super fine. Like it wasn't like, I never really had like any like negative feelings towards you, even though we didn't really like interact that much as children.
There was never beef between you and I.
Yeah.
Which I think is quite beautiful.
Which is, I mean, yeah, like Leos.
Leos,
you know, if
Leos.
Anyone doesn't know, I mean, obviously they know. Yeah, we're both Leos.
He's an August Leo, and I'm July Leo. You share your birthday with one of our old teachers. I remember that too.
Oh yeah, that was true. One of the teachers that we had the same birthday as I did, and it was usually at the beginning of the school year. It was like usually the first or second day when the school year started, and it was like I would go in and it was like, oh, it's my birthday, and then like the teacher would be like, it's my birthday, and like we would bond over it. But she was like a total like rude person.
She was, but like the funny part is she was one of my favorite teachers.
It just
like
I kind of liked her too, but she was like rude.
Yeah, she was. I mean, like I feel like that's the feeling towards all Leos, to be honest. It's like you either love them or hate them, or just like stay away from them.
Yeah. It's That's really how it is. Do you now you went there, how long were you at that school? Did you graduate?
Oh no, God no. So
The school that we went to?
I was there till 11th grade. And something happened. I was severely bullied all throughout almost 10 years of being in that school. And in 11th grade, something happened that I had to leave, and I ended up being homeschooled. Yeah. And I graduated
how was your homeschooling experience?
It was good. I mean, it was kind of tough seeing my friends have their prom and stuff like that, and like I didn't have a prom, which first world problems, to be honest. But it was pretty good. I graduated early, which, you know, kind of rocks. Felt like a grown up. Yeah, so I feel like the experience was kind of good. I had more freedom and it was less stressful. No bullies, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think I had I wouldn't say similar experience, but my relationship with that school that we went to was also pretty rough. I can definitely say it was one of like the most one of the toughest times I had in my life, because I was just so close. And I think a lot of people will say, yeah, middle school sucks, and I think that's super valid to say, you know, middle school sucks. And part of it was because, you know, I was very closeted. I was so deep in the closet, and looking back, it's wild because there were I wouldn't say a lot, like so many, but there were like a good amount of people within our graduating class who, like, you know, came out or discovered more about their sexuality, or like people that went to that school. But like it wasn't like, it was just no one would say anything, you know?
Yeah.
And if someone did say something or like accuse someone of something, it was like, no, what are you talking about? Like, that's not me.
Impossible. And
it was, yeah. So I remember these like comments. I would get like, that bitch is gay. I would get called, no, I was like, it was like pato. By the way, if you don't really speak Puerto Rican Spanish, like pato is like, it literally translates to duck, but for some reason, like, you just, like, if you call someone a pato, it's like they're a fag, and like, you just have to take it. You just have to take it,
because no one's gonna do anything about it, and it was frustrating.
Yeah, and in that school specifically, like, the teachers didn't do shit. The teachers really didn't do anything, and they were kind of homophobic as well. At least, I wouldn't say like all the teachers, but at least the administration, because the vice principal, some of the teaching assistants, a lot of the staff that worked there were extremely problematic. So I was just like, I mean, I guess I'll just deal with this and just grow old and die and never come out of the closet and marry a woman that I just don't really love and have children. And not saying that to this day I wouldn't ever date or marry a woman, but like the place where I was coming from at the time was very heterosexual, heteronormative, very, you know, like, this is the way that it has to be.
Yeah.
And then I left when I was in 8th grade, and going to 9th grade, I left Puerto Rico, left that school, and I moved to Texas, and I think it was 3 or 4, it was a couple months into the first semester when I came out for the first time, which blew my mind, because I was like, oh my god, like, I thought I was never gonna tell anyone, but here I am telling this girl who's being really nice to me, and that's and I guess like just being away from the toxic environment of that school, but also the Puerto Rican culture, like kind of like helped me relief of that. So I was wondering if like you had a similar experience.
I wanted to say that like I remember when you came out, and I was like so happy and excited for you because I know how hard it is. And I wanted to say that I know you had to do it twice. But I wanted to congratulate you on that because I know it's a big step and it's a very scary thing to do. And yeah, I feel like
I actually came out. Yeah, I actually came out. I think I want to say I came out like 2 major times, but I think I came out like I feel like I probably come out more than twice because I came out to like my friends as I think the first time I came out as gay, as I came out as a gay man, and then I think to my family after a couple of years later I came out as queer, and then like as just general just queer as my label, and I use that and I still stick with that label, and then I think most recently I came out as non-binary and queer, they them pronouns and all that stuff. So like I feel like coming out doesn't really like you kind of just figure yourself along the way, and it is whatever. I also don't really like to like put myself in a box. There's this like whole thing I've been reading about how gender and gender roles are very colonizer ideals and everything, and it's been so interesting to learn about.
You should send me that. I would love to read about that. But
for sure.
To answer your question, like, can you repeat your question?
Oh yeah, I was wondering if you had a similar experience to that I did when I left Puerto Rico. I felt like it was easier for me to be free and explore my sexuality because of the restrictions that the island had on me based on the culture.
Yeah, for me it was a little bit about the same. Like I kind of gave hints then and there, but I kind of refused. Like, for example, I said like, yeah, I can kiss a girl sober, but like I'm straight though. But I can kiss a girl sober. So so it was like I kind of gave hints then and there. I feel like the first one that was in front of people was in a Halloween party that I threw in 11th grade. And someone said, how much would I have to pay you for you to kiss, a girl? And I said $1. And I was like, that's kind of low. It's just $1? Like, I mean, like, might as well do it for free. You know what I mean? But, family members were very close-minded about that. They, like, growing up, like, I heard a lot of homophobic jokes, even, like, in my household. I had to kind of bite my tongue sometimes, because then it was just more shame. Not to shame my family or anything. I love my family, but of course we have our differences. And then when I moved to the United States, my whole group of friends happens to be queer, right? And I started feeling more comfortable with the idea. I have to, say that. Like, I felt more comfortable with the idea of just, being myself. And I saw that, there was, of course, it depends on the area that you live in the United States, because there's still very conservative areas in the United States. But I live in a good big city, you know what I mean?
Of course.
So I know I started just, my best friend, Cassandra, she met me, last year in January. And everybody was asking me, are you bisexual? Are you gay? Are you straight? And I was like, no, I'm straight. And then you saw me wearing rainbow colors and stuff like that. And people were are you straight? I'm like, no, 100%. And then I remember I went to
all the way.
Yeah, all the way. I went to a BLM march. And there was this girl there. And I kept staring at her, and I was just respectfully, of course, I'm not a creep, I just kept staring at her because she was stunning. And then I was like, no. I was like, no, this confirms it. She's like, this, yeah. I was like, well, no, I'm not straight. Telling my family was kind of hard. because like I feel like sometimes they hit you with like, why don't you tell me? Like, I'm so open-minded, and then I have like, well, here's the tea and here's the facts. You say this, this, and that, and they're like, but they were jokes. And like the fact of the matter is, like, some jokes are not meant to be jokes. They're full-blown offensive. So when you say certain homophobic jokes, you don't know what the person you're telling them to really, you don't know, if they could be. You know what I mean? So, like, opening up with that subject with my family was really hard. Really hard. But at the end, my family, part of it was supportive. So, I'm glad to say that, but it took years.
Yeah, I think I had a similar experience with my family, at least with... my grandma is problematic as heck, and I don't talk to her. I don't really have a relationship with her because she's extremely homophobic. And even though she's kind of apologized and shown quote-unquote remorse, I don't have any resentment towards her, but I no longer accept her as part of my life, and that's it. That's been done. She was extremely toxic to not just me, but to my mother, to many members of my family, like, and in a very violent way. So I think that's just stuff that I've left in the past. I frankly don't care if she's changed, and I'm okay with that. Like, I mean, if she's changed, good for her. I don't really care. But for other members of my family, like, I really do feel like they have genuinely, like, put in the effort and put in the work to actually care and, like, learn about these things that are very important to me and to who I am. And there were jokes that were made by some of the close family members that I do, like, care about, and there would be stuff like, they would make these jokes like, oh, like, gay people, like, always have diarrhea or something like that.
Disgusting.
And I would just, like, it was just, yeah, I was like, okay, whatever, but, like, it's a very problematic joke because it's like making it's there's like levels to that I forgot how the joke was set up, but, like, it was just like, looking back at it now, it's like there's so many levels to why that joke was bad, and, like, it stuck with me even though I was very young. And there would be, like, these comments that were made, like, when I would get home, and like, a family member would be like, oh, I saw these two gay guys at the mall, and they were kissing. And I was like, and I remember that I just had to be like, oh, this is bad, I have to say this is gross. And, like, even though I like, because I think I was just, like, grossed out by these thoughts of myself. So I was like, ew, that's disgusting. Why are you telling me that?
Yeah.
That's gross. That's disgusting. Gross. No. Just, like, being very outwardly homophobic. And I thought, I can't be gay because I hate gay people. So, like, I was just
homophobia.
Very homophobic. Yeah. Because, like,
no,
of course I can't be gay if I would never be friends with a gay person. And I do remember that there were times and things that occurred that I was like, I feel really bad for the things that I said at the time. Because one time me and my sister were at this, we were waiting for my mom to pick us up from this mall, from the mall at the curbside. And there was this gay couple, and, like, they had, like, this really cute, like, necklace around the both of them, and they were taking pictures together, just taking really cute pictures. They weren't even kissing or anything, but they were holding hands, just being really adorable. And, like, I don't know, like, 11 or 12, I think it was, like, 11, I was a kid. I looked around at them, and I gave them a look of disgust, and, like, I still remember the look in their faces as they went from, like, being so cute and, like, happy to like kind of being like put off by my face. You know, like the face of a child being disgusted by a couple just being happy and living their life, and I kind of ruined their day, you know? And I think about that, like, I really didn't have to do that, and like they probably think that I grew up to be some form of like homophobic, like church man, like, you know, like, and I think that sort of just like there's so many stuff that I really wish that I would have been able to not internalize, but I'm glad that I'm able to unpack it now. And I don't think I would have had that chance if I still lived in Puerto Rico, if I'm being quite honest.
Mine was that I was just not, like, I didn't like being that affectionate towards girls. Like, I would hug my friends and stuff like that, but like sometimes I'm like, no, like, I can't hug them too much because then they're gonna think I'm gay. And or like, if I do this, they're gonna think I'm gay. Or every time someone like pointed it out, I got like so mad, and I'm like, how would I be gay if I do this with men? How can I be? You know, like, like stuff like that. And it's like I try, like, it was crazy. Like, of course, I'm openly bisexual and have an amazing boyfriend, and like sometimes, you know, I still struggle with my identity and stuff like that, which is kind of hard to deal with, but I'm happy finally with like who I am in a way. And I don't think I could have done that if I would have stayed in like near my family and near like, you know, like PR. And like, even though I love my island and I'm proud of where I come from, there are certain realities of like how it can be a very conservative place and close-minded place. And there's of course people who are not close-minded, but they are outnumbered, sadly. So I guess of course there's people here that are close-minded, but it's just at this point a little bit less noticeable for me. So
yeah, I think because I still have friends like on Facebook, and like I still keep up with some of the people that I went to middle school with on social media, and a lot of them seem to have grown and like, you know, been like, you know, they seem to like be more quote unquote woke or whatever. If I don't like using the term woke like that, because I don't like using the term woke when it's used to describe people, so I wouldn't really call them woke. I feel like they're learning, and I feel like they're being more open-minded about things now, and it's very refreshing to see. But
it really is.
Also, when I came out recently, and this isn't just regarding the people that were friends with me back in middle school, but when I came out, a lot of these people that I knew just back in Puerto Rico were very like supportive, and I was like, wow, that's really nice to see. But like, I very much remember that you were very homophobic back then. So like now you're just being so nice and supportive, and it's like, I don't know, it kind of feels weird, because while I'm sure they had a journey of like unlearning all of these problematic behaviors and growing and educating themselves, the last memory I have of them is like of their homophobic behavior, and then my most recent memory is of them being, oh, I'm so proud of you for coming out, you know? Yeah. So like, yes, for them it was like a slow gradual build, but for me it's, you know, you were homophobic before, and now you're interacting with me, and now you're not, you know? I
completely relate to that, because like it happens in the same way when I see like these people like being against bullying and like pro mental health, when back then they weren't, and they completely humiliated me and stuff like that. So it's kind of good to see that they're not doing that to others anymore, but it still kind of, you know, stings a little. You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, you kind of gave me a little bit of a trauma there, sir. But congrats that I was part of your learning lesson. So yeah, it's good seeing them. They grew, and but it's still kind of like hard sometimes, like not like for me to forget what the things that these people said or what I heard them say.
Yeah, and I think I'll be quite honest. I think that I'll always remember all of these things because trauma scars run deep. Like they be sticking with you, girl. But
definitely.
I think it's just about like moving past it and just continuing to, and like not holding resentment. Like I don't really, how do I explain? I don't know. It's a lot of thought, and I think there's a lot to unpack with people's like traumas and people's relationships with these people, and it's not our job to forgive them because they don't have, like, I don't have to forgive you just to make you feel better, but
I forgive for me.
If they forgive themselves, yeah, I forgive for me. I think that's the most important part. And I also think that if they move past it and grown, then that's good for them. I really do hope that they're able to forgive themselves, because I do think that's important. Forgiving yourself is also important. And if they feel good within themselves, then I do feel good for them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I will or won't forgive them based on my experiences with them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Do you remember a time in this is gonna sound weird. Do you remember a time in Puerto Rico where you feel like, because I remember that we weren't really in like close proximity, but do you feel like there was a time where we could have been friends, like within like the circumstances that we were in?
Yeah, it was just I was too focused to like fit in with people that weren't like good for me. So I because like you were there for me in various occasions. Like I remember in the 8th grade I was like going through it and you were there for me. We weren't really that close. I do think that we could have been friends, but I do feel like right now I enjoy this more because I feel like it's like, oh, we have now a little growing friendship going on. Oh, even though it's like late bloomed, it bloomed later. I agree. But I really do enjoy the fact that we're doing that. Yeah. I do have a very
I think we have
very fond memory of you, which is like you were at, this was in 5th grade. You were out of school for a bit because you got into like a very bad accident, and then I remember I went to the mall and I saw you and I got so happy and I was like so excited to see you and I like ran towards you and we hugged each other and it was like beautiful. I feel like I hold that memory really dear, and and you're always so supportive, and like you once like I remember you've always been supportive with like my career, my entertainment career. You've always been so supportive since I was a kid, because it's like all that I've talked about since I was a kid. So I feel like in a way,
I remember.
Yeah, I saw the messages on Facebook.
Yeah, I think I feel like I do agree that I really enjoy this like blossoming friendship that we're having, because we have perspective looking back, and we're able to really relate to some of the experiences that we went through. I'll be quite honest, I feel like if we had been closer friends like back when we were both in school, in middle and elementary school, I think the two of us would have been bullied even more. Because I had friends who I had friends who I don't think they were popular, but they were well liked. And then you had, like, I think we were both in groups of friends that were able to be fit in within a specific type of not, I wouldn't say a clique, but yeah, I would say like we had a very specific type of group of friends that would be able to make us blend in and like not be such like, oh well, this person's obviously a little different. And I think you know we're all different. No one's the same or whatever. But you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no. My group of friends, I feel like,
And
because I don't know, like my group of friends was popular like in the 8th grade. I feel like okay. I'm not gonna drop names. But I feel like she was pretty popular and I was always with her. But she treated me completely like crap. But I was like, no, if I'm with her, I'm safe. But in reality, I was like completely humiliated all the time. They were sporty. I remember they were really sporty. They were like into sports and stuff. And I just stayed with them.
oh my god, I probably don't remember who you're talking about.
I'll text it to you.
Yeah.
I'll text you the name.
Okay, great. I'm really bad with names.
Drop names.
Yeah, I'm really bad with names. Yeah, no, we're not gonna expose anyone. At least not publicly. I was scared of most of the people that you were friends with.
Yeah. No, it was a crazy thing. I mean, like that's cool. No, it's crazy.
Oh my, that's so. I think that's something that people don't really talk about enough. Is like, don't get me wrong. There was this one time when I was back also in 7th grade. Oh, there was so much shit that happened in 7th grade. But this was back when I was in theater club, and this is the reason why the vice principal had a like preference for me, is because I was in theater club and she was like the theater club teacher. Which is why she liked me so much. And we were gonna do this play called Gigantes, and it was about interracial relationships in Puerto Rico, because you know, like as opposed to the States, Puerto Rico is a lot more blended in terms of like, you know, light skin and dark skin Puerto Ricans and like Afro Puerto Ricans, you know, so stuff like that in comparison. But like it was hard to do a play about interracial relationships in Puerto Rico and how better it is in Puerto Rico as opposed to the United States, when there wasn't a single Afro Puerto Rican in theater club, you know. And the whole play was about slaves and recently freed slaves. And this one girl was like, because we were like, how are we gonna really display this? And honestly, some people were like, yeah, we can do another play. But this one girl raised her hand and she was like, what if? And like she said, what if we like take what if we take black shoe cleaner and we like put it all over ourselves? And I was like, yeah. And
no.
And like the principal was like, the vice principal was like, thankfully we didn't do it. And like the play was never put on. Like we worked on it, but like we never actually put it on the school, which is why you probably don't remember like seeing.
No, because I was in theater club.
Wait.
I have like a vague memory.
Wait, were you in theater club? I'll be quite honest, I don't. I remember 2 people. I remember me and that girl. I remember like, but it's because it was just that it was just very blurred.
Yeah, I think I was like, maybe I went for a couple of them, but then they gave like the leading roles to like the favorites, and I was like, I'm a Leo, like I want to be a star, so I was like, I'm not gonna be here to be an extra. So I kind of like be this shitty school.
Yeah, I had gotten the role of the narrator, which was a good role because I did get lots of lines, but I didn't have to I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Or like physically be there. But I think we had like a small snippet of it performed, but we didn't perform the whole thing. And then when we did end up like doing the small snippet of it, the vice principal ended up being the narrator. Like I had recorded my lines because it was gonna be a voiceover. And then when they put it on, it was the vice principal's voice playing, and I was so upset, I'll be quite honest.
I would have been upset. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh my god. She always used to spill tea to me too.
But I was like, you know what? Whatever. I was snubbed.
Yeah, you were snubbed. No, she literally
yeah.
She literally like told me like a bunch of tea about her family at one point, and then which is like, you're telling this to a 14-year-old. Like, you shouldn't be saying that to a 14-year-old. And then, or 13, I don't even know if it was like 14 or 13. And then, like, a lot of things happened. That school was messed up. I don't even know how that school is still open, to be honest, because there was a huge scandal like 2 years ago, too, that was even in the papers. I don't even hear about that.
Wait, what happened? I was like, I'll read about it on the news, but like, what happened?
So basically, one of the music teacher who was at Atención was involved with one of the students. If you
Wait,
know
hold
Atención,
up. Atención. I was in Atención. I know Atención. I was in Atención. Yeah, I was in one of the in the music videos.
It was like one, and now he's not. And now he's not Atención anymore.
Oh wait. Wait, he's not. Oh my God. By the way, if you don't know what Atención is, it's like a very popular Puerto Rican. Well, Victor is from Argentina, but like,
Is it popular in
the main guy?
America
He's
too?
from Argentina. I think it's okay. I think it's pretty popular in Latin America, but I'm not really sure. I've asked my Latin American friends, and like they don't seem to know about it. So it's mostly popular in Puerto Rico, from what I can tell, and it's like a children's entertainment. They do have bobs. Like, you know, El Valiente Martín. Like, that kind of went hard for me. Oh, yes. That was such a... That was such... ¿Qué pasó?
No.
That was... Yeah. It was very fun. I remember that I did back in 2007 or 2008, I was in one of their music videos because, you know, my mom's best friend is the leading man's sister. Mm-hmm. So they were like, yeah, you know, we can have you in one of the music videos. And it was like this episode where they did the parranda, mm-hmm. and I was like, it's one of these like dancing children in there. If you look it up, you can still find me there. Just a very small little baby, and I have the credit on there, but I was only in that one. My sister was in 2 of the videos, and I was also, you know how in some of the episodes they have like these children screaming color names and numbers, and they're like amarillo or like uno, you know, I was one of the voices.
I really didn't watch Atención
so like I was one of the screaming children.
I didn't watch Atención that much. My sister was the one that like watched it. Like, she's now 10. I was more, I never like got into it. I got into it more when I was older, but it was because of my younger sister. They have bobs though. That's on period. Yeah.
They do. I'm kind of sad that that something like that happened, but I'm not surprised that it happened from our school, because again, there is a lot of like bad stuff that happened in that school, and a lot of stuff that just that gets swept under the rug.
Under the rug, yeah.
And I'm glad that we were able to like, yeah. I'm glad that we were able to like sort of just like talk about this, and I hope that we're able to talk about this like further. I think now would be like a good stopping point. Before we end, do you have anything that you want to promote?
So guys, I'm soon going to start posting again in my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to subscribe for more of my content, I would be really, really content about that. So I would really appreciate that. So it's just my YouTube channel, which is Totally Not Low.
And I'll leave the links on the description. Well, if you like this video or this episode, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell, because that is the best way that you can help this channel grow, so that you can be notified when I upload new content. Thank you so much for supporting this, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.
Bye.